True Gamer here, back with another episode. So my first Commodore 64 game, The Goonies, and every time I pick this up, it makes me feel young again. Just one glimpse at the artwork on this case and the cassette inside, along with their memories stored deep in my membrane, just gives me chilling goosebumps. So this is The Goonies and its explosive cover art that instantly gives me them movie vibes. Now before I go on and show my next game, I just want to say not every Commodore game came packed in these slick black big box cases. If you saw tapes in cases like these back then, it normally meant the game was pure quality and developers considered it worth the time, trouble and effort to create this design. Now, as you can see, the packaging here looks much more expensive compared to these cheap looking cases. Now these cases were what most Commodore games came in back then. Just these crap pieces of plastic looking case, where really if you compare the two, it is night and day to comparison. These black big box cases are much more attractive. Some Commodore software was distributed in these stylish mini VHS type of cases, which was elegantly presented, especially with all the items inside neat and tidy in their separate compartments. In my opinion, all Commodore games should have came in these cases. I guess it was financially beneficial back then to plonk them in these kind of cheap looking cases. Which ones do you prefer? So as you see, my Goonies comes complete with all of his paperwork. We got the manual there sitting pretty, and we also have this ultra rare The Goonies hint sheet back then to help you get through the game, because it was a very hard game to master and there was all kind of hidden places which many gamers didn't know about back then. But yeah, this is not easy to collect for if you're looking for the Goonies hint sheet. And also, when I got this, I had this faded receipt, which is probably rare to get, but you can hardly see where they bought it from. So yeah, my Goonies is basically complete. Now Datasoft was the developer and the publisher, and it was released in 1985. Now my second game is the very first Street Fighter, and this cover's portrait is timeless. And as you know, Street Fighter is a franchise that is in my top 5 of all time, and the series is still a mega hit in 2025. Now I just love this infamous Street Fighter title, all in graffiti style. That creation was genius by Capcom. Now I just want to make you aware that on the Commodore 64 there was another developer who was putting out Street Fighter on the platform, but I always say if you want to buy it, make sure you get the version by the Masters, which is Capcom. Now unfortunately I am missing the elusive paperwork, which is the manual, but the case and the cover art display is gaming treasure all on its own, so that makes up for it. Now the game was developed and published by Capcom, and it was released in 1987. Now here's another epic game, Fight Night, and the cover is a work of art of depiction which one of the boxers, as you can see, is releasing heavy blows to his opponent's abdominal section. Now this game was an absolute gem, and I can remember watching hours of gameplay and witnessing many crippled fingers and thumbs while playing this game, because the game will definitely put you through your paces. So as you see, manuals are included, and to get it complete in box like this is an absolute rarity, because these documents are hard to find. So in the UK, it was developed and published by US Gold, and it was released in 1985. Now this was a sporting icon and a national hero back in the 80s, and he doesn't get recognized or rewarded enough for what he achieved. But he was massive back then, hence Daley Thompson Decathlon was born on the Commodore 64. And once again, it's a top piece of software, so it launched in these big black boxes. As you see here, the cover on the case deserves an Olympic gold medal in the artist department, that's for sure. And yes, I'm fortunate to own the cassette along with all of its documentations. So this is a complete article. Now, Ocean Software was the developer and the publisher, and it was released way back in 1984. Then last but never least, Rambo First Blood Part 2. Now this game, every Commodore 64 gamer would have had in their collection back in the 80s, because Rambo was super popular in the movie industry and also the gaming industry. And back then, Sylvester Stallone was Hollywood. That's all I have to say. Him and Arnold Schwarzenegger were doing it big in the 80s and 90s. And I guarantee that this picture on the cover art was on everybody's wall. It's probably worth a fortune if you was to try and find it today. Now, as you see, guys, on the back, we got some exclusive cover art as well. And on the front, both pictures just look absolutely incredible. Now, it does come with the tape and also that obscure instruction manual. Before I go, I must add the difficulty on this game must be set to nightmare mode, because the game is super duper hard. Now, Platinum Production was the developer and Ocean was the publisher, and it was released in 1986. So there it is, 5 classic Commodore 64 games in my collection so far, and these are my personal top 5. Okay guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, even better, subscribe. Till next time, see ya.